Welcome back to the Tropical Update. It's Friday, September 8th. I'm Tom. I'll be guiding you through graphics. We're going to be talking about Hurricane Irma, which has become a little weaker, but is still a very dangerous Category 5. We're also going to be talking about new watches and warnings for Florida. And also we're going to be talking about the new computer runs and where it's going to be going. First up is our 5-day cone, and from the last advisory it has shifted a little bit west, especially on the north end. It's went from East Tennessee and now it's in Central Tennessee, and it has moved a little bit west on the southern end, which would bring it right over South Florida if it makes landfall there. Again, these can move a little bit one way or the other. And here is the latest data. It's 55 miles east-northeast of the Turks and Caicos Islands. The winds are down to 165, but that's still very dangerous, Category 5. The pressure is 920 millibars, and it is still moving on that west-northwest track at 16 miles an hour, and they expect that speed to stay pretty steady. Next up, here's watches and warnings. If you look from Key West up to West Palm Beach, there is now a hurricane warning. North of West Palm Beach on the East Coast, there is a tropical storm warning. And near the Tampa area, there's also a tropical storm warning that is out. And obviously, as it gets closer, these watches and warnings will move on up the state of Florida. Also, like Dominican Republic, they have dropped some of the watches and warnings there because of where the storm has passed. Now here is our newest models. They have moved a little bit west, which will bring Irma pretty much up the center of Florida. But these will move a little bit each time they are run, so it could trend back to the east a little bit. It's still just a little too early to be sure which way. And this is the storm surge, and as you look, there's going to be much more storm surge over on the east coast, and a lot of that has to do with the counterclockwise rotation of the storm. But if it comes in where they're thinking it is, it's also going to push a lot of water in the area near south of Naples. They're going to have some high storm surge. Now this is the rainfall forecast through Sunday, and you can see Miami and that area is starting to get in on some of the heavy rain through Sunday. A foot or more is very much possible with this system. The next up, this is another one of the storm surge models, and on the East Coast you can see 5 to 10 feet. And that's very possible. And on the west coast, I believe that it's probably going to be 5 to 10 feet south of Naples, just because of how the system is going to spin and push water on shore. But these will change, and we'll have to watch these. This is a prediction of power outage, and they're looking at 2.5 million people will be affected and possibly not have power. And the last time we looked at one of these, it was with Matthew last year, and they were pretty close. They were very, very close on that. So just be ready for no power. And here is a picture of it, and it looks very, very good. Eye wall is strong, a lot of outflow, the banding you see, and just a very, very strong Cat 5 hurricane. And this is the surface wind field. I wanted to show you this. As I've said many times before, majority of your wind field, or at least the larger area of wind field, is on the north and northeast quadrant, and that's what we're seeing here. Hurricane force winds reach out 75 miles from the center, and tropical force winds are somewhere in 185 mile an hour from the center. And here is a water bottle, and I know a lot of people are having trouble finding bottled water. Well, most people that I know have running water in their house, so this is a good idea to have this to store your water in. This is for drinking water. Also, make sure you have flashlights and batteries, because the power could go out, and there's probably a good chance in South Florida that it will. A lot of it is above ground, the wires. Also a radio. You're going to need to know a lot of information after the hurricane, where to get supplies, and what the officials want you to do. Next thing that I have, this is a solar powered battery pack, and you can charge your cell phone and different things with it, and they only run about $13 on eBay. Next up, you should be having your windows boarded up by now, and make sure that you use no less than 5/8 inch plywood. 3/4 is the best. And next up, I just wanted to show you, this is what happens to garage doors. It's one of the weakest parts of the home, and after this one went, it started blowing the roof off of the home at about 150 mile an hour wind. So that's why you need to reinforce your garage door, and there's still time to do that, and there's plenty of things on the internet how to reinforce your garage door with just the normal wood you can get from your home center. And a lot of people, they reinforce the exterior doors, and you might think, well, this do I really need to do this? And the truth is, yes, you do, because of this. If you look at the wind pressure on a normal 36 inch exterior door, they're at 150 mile an hour wind, you have 780 pounds of pressure pushing on that door and that door jamb. So a lot of times, if you don't have a deadbolt, the door will fail, and you're going to have big problems. Next up is back to the garage door. It's basically 3 times the size of a normal door. Some are even bigger. They're 9x7. So at 150 mile an hour winds, you have 2,400 pounds of force pushing over that door. So it's almost like having a car standing on that door. Need that bracing. And if you have a deadbolt, make sure you use it. The deadbolt is way superior to just a normal doorknob, and that'll keep your door from blowing open. Next thing up is sandbags. They are available. Many places have the bags and the sand. Sometimes you have to fill them, sometimes you don't. But if you're in a flood prone area, this is something you still have time to do, is use the sandbags, and they do work. And like I say, they're cheap, and just look around, somebody will have them. Well, thank you for tuning in, and we are keeping an eye on all the new models and all the new updates, and if anything drastic changes, we will be getting it right up here on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe and hit that like button. If you have any comments, go right ahead. Any questions, feel free to ask them, and we'll try to help you out with them. Till then, goodbye.